Hi, this is Melanie from Screen Time with Mel, and today we're going to talk about The Serpent Queen, Season 1, Episode 6. So let's get into it. Hey everybody, thank you so much for joining me here today. If you are returning, well, I appreciate that, and I hope that you enjoy this video as much, if not more, than the last one that you watched. And if you're new, then thank you for checking me out. I appreciate that as well. And if you do enjoy this video, don't forget to go ahead and go down below, hit that thumbs up button, and don't forget to hit the subscribe button if you haven't yet, if you like all things TV and some movies, and hit the bell so that you're reminded each time I come out with a brand new video. Alright, so let's go ahead and get on with the episode. Okay, so we start this episode right where the last episode left off, with Rahima, with the consequences of her actions, and she is in jail, and the queen comes and visits her in jail, and Rahima is telling her, you need to get me out of here, you're the one that asked me to do this, and the queen looks at her and says, are you sure that you heard correctly? So that's how it begins. And then of course Catherine sits down with Rahima and starts telling her more stories of the past. So, oh, and you know what, I before that even starts, that's before the forward, before the title sequence, which I'm going to talk about that in a minute, but before the title sequence, there is this scene, where the king is being rushed back into the castle, and, he has bandages over his eyes, and he's running back in with Diana, and, so as they're running towards the room, the physicians and his men-at-arms rush him into the room, and Diana goes to take the hand of Catherine, and then Catherine turns, and by the way, at this time, Diana's shimmering gold, okay, and Catherine turns to Diana and shoves her out the window, and Diana falls down, and then Diana goes into the room, and she pulls this sash, it's a green sash, off of the king, and all of a sudden she gets a bite, and the sash is gone, and there's a snake going underneath the bed, you know, underneath her skirts. So that kind of tells you, and I had the feeling that this was the case, but it tells you it's a dream sequence. And in past episodes, Catherine has stated that she's had prophetic dreams before. Okay, so that becomes more important a little bit later on. Now, then we go into the title sequence. And one thing that I keep neglecting to mention is there's a very modern music on the title sequence and then the end titles of these episodes. They're very modern, and I kind of like that, like juxtaposition with the modern music set against the time period piece, the historical nature of this. Now, the music throughout is all, so it's not a Knight's Tale all over again. So the music throughout is not modern. It's just piano and stuff like that. But it's piano, violins, you know, orchestra type music. But as far as the title sequence and the end sequence, those are pretty modern music, and it's a little rockish. So I kind of really like that. It's pretty neat. Anyway, so let's get back into the episode. Basically, this episode is about Diana is trying to get on. Okay, so the bishop goes to Diana because he knows that Diana has a lot of sway in how the king thinks and what the king chooses to do. So he goes to Diana saying, I want to push up the marriage between Mary and the prince. So she does. She tries to push this agenda, and it starts working. Catherine says that she's not ready for it. That he's not ready. The prince is not ready to be married. And I believe he's 15 at the time. She actually is stating this, but then also the Protestants that are represented in court also do not want this marriage to happen, because Mary is a devout and sometimes noted as a fanatic Catholic. So they are not interested in this, which of course is why the bishop wants this to happen, because it gives him more power in the kingdom. That moves forward. Now, the king, he is not interested in having his son marry at this time. He thinks that his son is not ready to be married. So I think he's, and you see this as time goes on, he's starting to see where his life is being ruled by the women around him. That he feels like he does not have any control over his life. It's being ruled by he's being manipulated by the women around him, specifically Diana. So he states, no, I don't want him to be married. Diana pushes forward anyway and continues to make this happen. Well, Catherine is talking with the king afterwards and states, well, you can make this not happen, but not make it look like it's your fault by saying that the treasury cannot be used for celebratory events. And this decree goes to the treasurer, which is ruled by the Protestants. And so they tell Diana she can't have the wedding. Well, by this time, Diana is losing it. Okay, so she's bathing in gold. She's getting painted in gold. She's still taking gold. So she's losing it. And also by this time, Catherine's lady is completely Diana's lady. So she's completely switched sides and all this. So she's losing it. She's not the calm, collected person that's maneuvering like before. She's maneuvering with a jackhammer now. And this is because the bishop promised her, I forget what the amount means, but it is a pretty high dollar amount. So he promised her this, I want to say 2 counts, but I don't even know what that means. Okay, but by the way that she's acting, it's pretty dang high, and this is going to be her money. Okay, so this is under her control. Then she goes in and she goes to talk to Mary. Well, Mary had already been visited by Catherine, and Catherine let her know that it's highly probable that the prince will not be able to make her pregnant, and that if he dies without her being pregnant, then she gets no land. Everything, like England, will cede to Elizabeth. She'll get Scotland, and she won't have France because she won't have an heir. That is what Catherine's done. So Diana goes in, and Diana is talking to Mary. Mary's upset and crying, and she's saying, I don't want to get married, and tells Diana why. Diana's like, who told you this? Finds out it's Catherine, goes storming to Catherine, and says, you know what, I'm going to make this wedding happen. Just you wait. So she goes to the king. Now, at this point, the king, he's been drinking a lot, and he is starting to kind of see how he's being manipulated by Diana, and he tells her this flat out. Well, you know, Diana's a smart woman, so she turns on a dime and says, I've loved you the only way that I knew how, and was crying and saying, it hurts me if you think that I've been doing this as for my own favor. I've only thought of you, and blah blah blah. Needless to say, the wedding moves forward. The wedding moves forward because he's manipulated yet again. She's happy as a lark, and they start the festivities. Now, also, Catherine has brought back the witch guy. I forget his name, but the witch guy, and he's been talking to her about this dream, and she figures out that the king was wearing her colors when he was fatally wounded. So she goes to this event, and there's going to be a jousting event, which was suggested by Catherine. There's going to be this jousting event, and the king tells the person going against him, don't go easy, play like you're playing to win, and let's move on. Now, the first pass, the guy who he's going against, which is a previous trusted advisor, and I believe a King's Guard, or maybe the head of the King's Guard for the previous king, and was excommunicated. He's back, and he's the one fighting against the king. And the king, when they go back again, you know, so they do the joust, and then they go back again the other way. And he says, you are not playing to win. I told you, play to win by the king's orders. And he's like, okay. Well, Catherine at this point tells her maid, the little person, hey, you need to tell him that I've had this dream, and if he doesn't stop, he is going to die today. So the word gets back to the king. The king looks at her and says, does it anyway. He moves forward, and of course he gets grievously injured. And we don't know if he's dead or not. We have no clue if it was this moment. I believe, because I've been watching some videos about the history of Catherine and all this stuff, and I believe that he was killed in a joust. Anyway, so we switch back to Rahima in the cell, and Rahima's like, you did this. You killed him. It was you. And she goes, no, I didn't do this. Something else happened. I tried to warn him and he ignored me. She goes, no, everything, these accidents all happen around you. You did this, and you brought me in and swayed me to your ways, and she's doing the sign of the cross and indicating that the Catherine is the devil, and I convinced her to do bad things. And she goes, really? Was it all me? Was I one that maimed another maid, or was stealing? That wasn't me. That was you. And she said, cut her rations by half, and then leaves. Now, here's the interesting part. At the end, and this is current day, Catherine is meeting with the witch guy, and he is saying, are you sure she's going to do what you want? And Catherine says, Rahima will do exactly what I want her to do. Don't you worry about her. And then the episode ends. Now I want to watch the next episode, but I gotta wait a week. Yeah. Thank you, Serpent Queen, because now I really want to watch the next episode. But it's I'm really liking how it's ramping up. I'm really enjoying this. I am enjoying them showing Mary, Queen of Scots, as a fanatic with all of her ladies in white, and you know, putting herself forward as the virgin. And I know that her marriage to the prince is very short, because his reign was only, I think, a year before he died. So maybe he was the one that died by a jousting accident. I can't remember. It all runs together after a little while. But so did I miss anything? I'm jumping through this because I'm getting excited about it as it's ramping up, and I know I'm missing some stuff when I'm talking about it. So was there something you wanted me to talk about that I totally forgot about or totally missed? Mention it down below. Let's talk about it. I would love to hear from you. I would love to start that conversation. And I am, again, I'm thoroughly enjoying this. I think this is some great TV. It was slow for a little bit there, but as all like middle kind of episodes are, and it's starting to ramp up now as we're getting towards the end. And yeah, so anyway, let me know what you think down below, and let's start that conversation. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit the thumbs up button. And while you're down there, if you like all things TV and some movies, then go ahead and hit that subscribe button and hit the bell so that you get a reminder each time I come out with a brand new video. Alright, thank you all so much for being here. I appreciate each and every one of you. You guys have an amazing day. Bye-bye.